The curious case of the cooling Pacific introducing La Niña. The Pacific Ocean, vast and mighty, holds a fascinating secret. La Niña. Imagine a giant bathtub filled with warm water near the surface. Now picture a gentle breeze blowing across, pushing the warm water aside. This leaves cooler water below to rise up. That, my friends, is La Niña in its simplest form. La Niña, Spanish for the little girl, is a climate pattern that occurs in the Pacific Ocean. It is characterized by unusually cold ocean temperatures in the central and eastern equatorial Pacific. This cooling effect, while seemingly subtle, sets off a chain reaction across the globe, influencing weather patterns in ways we are only beginning to understand. La Niña is a natural phenomenon, part of a larger climate cycle called the El Niño Southern Oscillation, ENSO. It is a reminder that our planet is a complex web of interconnected systems where even the slightest change in one area can ripple outwards, creating a cascade of effects felt far and wide. The making of La Niña, a story of wind and water. To understand La Niña, we must first look at the intricate dance between the ocean and the atmosphere. Normally, trade winds blow from east to west across the Pacific Ocean. These winds pile up warm water in the western Pacific, creating a region of low pressure and rising air. This rising air then cools and condenses, leading to abundant rainfall over countries like Indonesia and Australia. During La Niña, these trade winds intensify. Imagine a giant fan blowing even stronger, pushing more warm water westward and deepening the layer of cold water in the central and eastern Pacific. This intensification further disrupts the normal atmospheric circulation patterns, leading to the dramatic shifts in weather we experience during La Niña events. The stronger the trade winds, the more pronounced the La Niña event, and the more significant its impacts on global weather patterns. La Niña's global playground, weather extremes and shifting patterns. La Niña's influence extends far beyond the Pacific Ocean, reaching across continents and impacting weather systems thousands of miles away. Think of it like a domino effect, with the cooling of the Pacific Ocean setting off a chain reaction that alters atmospheric circulation patterns around the globe. In some regions, La Niña brings increased rainfall and flooding. For example, countries in Southeast Asia and Northern Australia often experience heavier than normal monsoon rains during La Niña years. On the other hand, La Niña can also lead to drought conditions in other parts of the world. The southwestern United States and parts of South America often experience drier than average conditions during La Niña events. These shifts in precipitation patterns can have significant impacts on agriculture, water resources, and ecosystems around the world. La Niña versus El Niño, two sides of the same oceanic coin. La Niña is often considered the counterpart to El Niño, another climate pattern that occurs in the Pacific Ocean. While La Niña is characterized by unusually cold ocean temperatures in the central and eastern Pacific, El Niño brings warmer than average waters to the same region. Imagine El Niño as the warm phase and La Niña as the cool phase of a giant ocean seesaw. These two phases, along with neutral conditions in between, make up the El Niño Southern Oscillation ENSO cycle. Just as La Niña has its own set of global impacts, El Niño also influences weather patterns around the world, often bringing opposite effects to those of La Niña. Understanding the differences and interactions between La Niña and El Niño is crucial for predicting and preparing for the impacts of these powerful climate drivers. Section 5. When La Niña made headlines, a look at real-world impacts. La Niña is not just a scientific phenomenon, it's a force of nature that has had very real and sometimes devastating impacts on communities around the world. One striking example is the 2010 to 2011 La Niña event, which brought record-breaking rainfall to Australia. The floods that followed caused billions of dollars in damage and displaced thousands of people. In contrast, the same La Niña event contributed to a severe drought in the southern United States, withering crops and straining water resources. These examples highlight the far-reaching and diverse impacts of La Niña, underscoring the need for greater understanding and preparedness in the face of these events. By studying past La Niña events, scientists can learn valuable lessons about the potential impacts of future events and help communities better prepare for the challenges these climate patterns may bring. Section 6. Why understanding La Niña matters from forecasts to future planning. In our increasingly interconnected world, understanding La Niña is no longer just a matter of scientific curiosity, it is a matter of societal importance. Accurate forecasts of La Niña events can provide critical information for farmers, water managers, and disaster relief agencies, enabling them to make more informed decisions and mitigate potential risks. For instance, knowing that a La Niña event is likely to bring drier than average conditions to a particular region can help farmers adjust their planting schedules and water conservation practices accordingly. Similarly, understanding the increased risk of flooding in other regions can help communities prepare evacuation plans and bolster flood defenses. By incorporating La Niña predictions into our planning and decision-making processes, we can become more resilient to the impacts of climate variability and build a more sustainable future. Section 7. La Niña in a nutshell, a recap of its importance. La Niña, the little girl of the Pacific, may seem like a distant phenomenon, but its effects are felt far and wide, influencing weather patterns and impacting lives across the globe. From increased rainfall and flooding in some regions to drought conditions in others, La Niña's influence is both powerful and far-reaching. Understanding this climate pattern, its causes and its potential impacts, is crucial for building a more resilient and sustainable future. By improving our ability to predict and prepare for La Niña events, we can mitigate risks, protect communities, and ensure a safer and more prosperous future for all. As we continue to unravel the mysteries of La Niña and other climate patterns, we gain valuable insights into the delicate balance of our planet and the importance of protecting its fragile ecosystems. Section 8. How does La Niña impact the Indian monsoon? The Indian monsoon, a lifeline for millions, is also sensitive to La Niña's whims. Remember the intensified trade winds we discussed? Well, they have a fascinating effect on the monsoon. During La Niña years, these strengthened winds can actually enhance the monsoon, bringing more rainfall to India. This might seem counterintuitive, as La Niña is associated with cooler waters. However, the intensified winds push more moisture towards the Indian subcontinent, resulting in a stronger monsoon. This increased rainfall can be a boon for agriculture, replenishing reservoirs and boosting crop yields. However, it can also lead to flooding in some areas, highlighting the complex and interconnected nature of these climate patterns. Section 9. La Niña and climate change. A complex relationship. As our planet warms due to climate change, the question arises, how will La Niña be affected? This is a complex issue that scientists are still studying. Some research suggests that climate change could lead to more frequent and intense La Niña events. Others propose that the relationship between La Niña and climate change might be more nuanced and harder to predict. Unraveling this complex relationship is crucial for understanding the future of our climate and preparing for the potential impacts of a warming world. As we delve deeper into the mysteries of La Niña and its connection to climate change, we gain valuable insights into the intricate workings of our planet and the challenges we face in a changing world.